Hey YouTube, video number 4. Now I want to start this video off by saying I am just as concerned as probably most watching, and I have been concerned for a very long time about the current state of the world. And when I say but I have been concerned for a very long time, I've been seeing this coming. I know that sounds odd, but I mean this. I've been seeing this coming now for a very long time, and I don't think I'm alone there, by the way. I think a lot of people have seen this coming for a very long time. Our current state of the world, and really, for me, I'm going to stay specific to my location of the world, which is the United States. So this kind of plays into the first video that I made on with this new series almost a week ago now, but I kind of wanted to be a little more specific. And the reason why is because I feel like I might have made some. I feel like if you watched that video and read into what I was saying, you understood. But there were those few people that didn't watch my entire video, or maybe even just fully misunderstood my last video, which was about Windows 10 going end of life. And I think a few of the things I said may have been misinterpreted, possibly. I don't know. But I'm hoping to try to clarify a little more with this video. Not so much on the Windows 10 front. I still believe that y'all need to get over yourself there a little bit. But I think there's a further oddly political thing I was trying to get at, and actually that kind of exists with this, that I didn't want to fully go into with that video. I sort of kind of trudged that territory, but I didn't want to go fully off the deep end because I really wanted to stay focused on like the computer stuff and not so much like the politics behind all of this, right? Or the the societal whatever crap that's going on. But this video is focusing more on that now. So and what I'm to be a little bit less vague here, I'm specifically talking about, I feel like people are grasping onto nostalgia and grasping onto we have lost something valuable in this country. And I'm going to say, and again, I'm sure this hits other parts of the world, but because I'm not as honestly like knowledgeable about what's going on in other parts of the world right now, sorry, I just am not. I mean, yes, I am, but also like not to the extent of where I'm living in it, I'm just going to stick with the United States right now. So if these politics are what I'm trying to say doesn't necessarily apply to you, or maybe it's better or it's worse where you are, I'm not trying to discredit what you're going through or what you're experiencing. I just want to focus on what I know, like specifically, because I am not an expert at all this shit. I am just experiencing what I experience. I am, trying to spread what I think based on what I've read and things that I've noticed, and things that I've thought about. And so just understand that's a personal experience. And so I live in the Midwest, the United States, and so that's what I know as far as life is concerned. So if you're like in Europe and none of this shit applies to you, or you're in Venezuela and none of this shit applies to you, like, don't get me started on Venezuela right now. I feel so bad for you guys. Just, ugh. Yeah. Anyways, I like, as far as what Trump is doing with that, let's just fucking move on. Okay, so, so I have kind of experienced this myself, right? Where we have, it feels like we've lost something. We were losing our country right now. And in reality, that's true. That I'm not saying I should take that back. It's we are losing our country right now. It's not that it just feels like it. Now, I'm not saying it's hopeless. I'm not saying we can't reverse this. I'm not saying that in 6 years from now we have a Democrat in office. Even just saying. I'm simply saying that right now at the present moment, without any knowledge of how things will play out, but how things might play out, we are actively losing our country. There's a lot, again, there's it's not It's not fully lost. We can reverse this trend. But I want to talk about that because I still think it's possible. And I feel like we need to discuss this, or I need to discuss this and you guys watch. Hey, y'all comment, and, I love negative comments because in reality, that last video I did where that guy said 51 minutes of or like bad takes or whatever. The reality is I kind of thought, I laughed when I saw that for like a solid 2 minutes. It's the funniest shit to me. I'm not even kidding. Because he's not totally wrong. But the other thing is it also helps me, like, you're not only watching my video, but you're interacting with it. So that actually really helps me build an audience. Just saying, if you're going to comment and not like that, that's fine. I'm just warning you ahead of time. It's going to build my audience. So I'm not discouraging you at all. I promise you, I'm fine with you saying whatever the fuck you want to say about me. I don't give a shit. I'm just warning you, if the whole point is to, you don't want my videos to be liked and whatever the hell, you don't want other people to see them, then you're doing the wrong thing by commenting. Okay. Anyways. So, I feel like my generation, I was born in like the late 90s. I'm like, I don't know if I'm what you would call a Gen Zer. I feel like I'm just before that, but pretty close. If this helps gauge my age, you almost probably can pinpoint it exactly when I say this. But I remember a time before the iPhone came out, but I was still a kid. And where, a Windows XP computer that was not connected to the internet was a norm, and you just played video games off of discs that you slapped into your computer. My first experience with the internet was actually dial-up. That's all we had where I was. And I know by that time that there were better options in other areas, just not our area. So, I hope that kind of helps you gauge my age a little bit. I don't know if it does, but I don't know if I want to say my exact age, but it's almost exact, right? It's like you're like, okay, man, that's like very specific almost. If you understand what I'm saying, you'll be like, holy shit, and you probably are like exactly, My point is I think that a lot of people from my generation, actually in generations from the past, actually Bernie Sanders recently said this, whether or not you like him, but he came out and said, there was a study done, and people do in fact believe, and can almost, I don't know if I want to say prove, but can make some pretty strong suggestions as to why life actually might have been better in the 1950s versus what it is now. Right? And I'm not going to comment much on that. If you're really interested in that, you please go watch his video on that, and it'll explain a lot better. I don't want to even try to regurgitate what he said, because he said it. It's on go watch his channel. Dude's cool, awesome, all that shit. So, versus having me talk about that, I'd rather you just go find it for yourself. But my point is that I feel like we have a lot of nostalgia for things we're losing right now. And on top of that, I feel like there is the sense that we can't get these things back. My belief is that's correct. We're probably not going to get these things back exactly as they were. And that is kind of the point I was trying to make with the Windows 10 stuff, right, yesterday. The world does change, right? And change is a good thing. It's a stressful thing, but it can be a good thing. Actually, change really isn't a good or bad thing. Change is just simply change, right? It can be good. It can be bad. It can be both at the same time, literally. That just depends on what we're talking about here. It's such a broad topic. It's fucking talking about change. Changing what, What does that affect? Right? But change is change, and it is what is fact here is that change is a part of life. It is a part of the world. Nothing stays the same on this planet. And that's just the reality of the universe we live in, to be honest. People are not okay with that. What I just said right there. People are not okay with change. It is why they want to keep driving 20-year-old cars. It is why they want to keep the same operating system for the rest of their fucking lives. It is why, they want to live in the the early 2000s for eternity or something, right? It's why people, we got to remember, like if we all go back to 2003, like we don't know what happens after 2003, guys, all of those problems come back. If that were possible to go back in time and live in 2003, you would be dealing with the same bullshit problems you were, all the post 9/11 shit and all the stress from that. I mean, it was a terrifying time then too. It really, truly was. And there was, 20 years from now, I bet you people will have nostalgia for the 2020s. I swear to God. I know that sounds ridiculous right now. It'd be like, man, that is just, maybe the early 2000s I can see it, but not now. I'm telling you, there will be a new generation of kids that will grow into young adults, and they are going to feel nostalgia for the 2020s. I swear to fuck it will happen. All right. I mark my words. There will be those people, and it'll probably drive a lot of the shit you see online. The internet still exists then, in its form similar to what we see now. I don't know. Probably to some degree, but regardless, whatever the hell we do to share information at that time, it will be you're going to have a lot of people that are nostalgic for the 2020s and the 2040s or something, right? So my point is, people don't like change, and that's why, like my last video with for stop me playing with Windows 10, I'm simply telling you guys that I've seen this same exact pattern, and I've almost been a part of it. I had to kind of get comfortable with this shit, right? I've had to deal with change in my life. I'm not just sitting here talking to a camera like I'm all that. I'm telling you this because I've had to go through change. A lot of change. Honestly, I'm not even sure how the hell I got here. I in the last 5 years, so much shit has happened in my life. In 5 years' time, I could write a book, a novel about what has happened in these last 5 years. I've lived 3 different places in 5 years. All in the same state, honestly the same area of the state, sure. But I've lived 3 different places in the last 5 years. I've had countless different jobs in the last 5 years. I've had, and ranging in all kinds of different industries, okay? I've had the same girlfriend. We've managed to make it that far. But that's like the one I tell her, I'm like, you're the one, probably the one constant, besides my buds and some of the stuff I've had forever, but for the most part, she's like the big ticket life item that's remained the same, which I'm happy for, by the way. Cause she watches these videos, she does. And so she might be like, oh, you better not be saying nothing, So I just want to be clear about that. And I mean that, by the way. But yeah, never mind. That different topic for another video. Anyways, so people don't like change, but I'm telling you, it's just the way. And I will tell you, I have this last year probably I feel like the Trump. I've been kind of depressed the last couple of years, right, about my life and where it might be going and things like that. And then this Trump shit happened, and then I had more reason to be depressed. And I literally had a breaking point in this last month. I'm not even kidding. Where I just completely, I almost want to say hit rock bottom, where I just got so pissed and so obsessed about the world and how horrible things have gotten that I broke as a person. I fucking broke, okay? And that's exactly why I'm making these videos right now. Why I'm sitting here in my old ass car that, that is not street legal at the moment. It's sitting in my garage and making these videos is because of that. Is because of what just happened in the last month. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know how the hell I pulled out of that. I think it was pure and raw survival. In fact, I remember the exact moment. It was just 2 weeks ago. I was sitting at my desk at work, and I was quietly flipping it. but I was shaking. I could literally, and I honestly kind of mentally knew that I'm changing. I was feeling, I'm literally changing. I'm like a cocoon opening. This is the only bullshit analogy I can come with. I'm like ripping the fucking cocoon, or like just like ripping myself out of that shit. I'm a goddamn butterfly now. Fuck. No longer a snowflake or some shit. Sort of kind of still a snowflake, but you know. That's the only thing I can say. You know, it's like I've been struggling all this time, and then all of a sudden I just busted. It's like my brain fucking said, "That's it, no more." And I think I broke, but it feels pretty good. And I think maybe I'm crazy, but I don't know. Hey, listen, at least I guess I'm happy. I'm still stressing out. Don't get me wrong, but I literally just had a coming to moment where I'm like, I literally was going to break and just blow the fuck up in my office and just have a fucking mental breakdown. But I literally had to, I had to walk outside and be like, I need to fucking calm down. And I was like, okay, this has got to, so I walked outside, I calmed myself down, and I told myself I could either keep being stressed, because before that, I was having heart issues, or stress issues, or I was having a near heart attack or panic attack. I literally told myself, I'm like, I can keep being stressed about this and probably lose everything that I have in my life right now, which isn't guaranteed if I keep stressing. Or I could just figure out how the hell I'm going to get through this. And it meant a complete rewriting of what I currently value in life. Right fucking there. I am not at all saying this is a magical moment. Do not get me wrong, I still am confused about it. I have no fucking idea what happened. Alright, but I'm here to tell you that I accepted the world for what it is right now. I am not saying I'm not concerned about current political shit going on. The Trump administration right now is... I didn't vote for the man. I do not like him. I feel like I've made that clear. And I am not okay with this shit. And by no means do I give a fuck about this administration. But I do give a fuck about what the hell they're doing to hurt our fucking country. And that is... I want to be, again, very clear about that. But at the same time, I also realized something. Well, I mean, I kind of knew this already, but I mean, it really just clicked in my head. Like, I no longer am going to give it power. The corporations in our country, right? They're always trying to find trends. That's why like your devices spy on you and all that shit. They're not looking. They don't care about your personal life or whether you jack off. You know, what time you jack off, all that stuff. They don't care about that. The reason why our devices spy on you is to find out how they can sell you something. Whether that be, and it's not even just specifically you, sort of, kind of, but really they're trying to find what is the current trend in the world. They're trying to find that before people really show them, right? They're trying to get ahead of the curve so they can market and be the trend. That's the whole point of big data. This is pretty obvious, but that's what big corporations are doing. And so right now, you know what the trend is? Fear. Fear is the trend. The idea that society is collapsing is the trend. And the corporations are selling that to you. They want you to be scared. They want you. That's why Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and fucking Jeff fucking Bezos were sitting behind Donald Trump on his inauguration day. Because they're going right along with this. Because they're untouchable. These guys, they're not accountable to anybody. They own the economy at this point. They have almost all of the money. They just leave the scraps for all of the rest of us so that they can basically keep us under control. They are your oligarchs in this country. Now, these people, okay, they know that the American people are terrified. And they know that Trump is just creating all this fucking chaos. They're not stupid. They get this. And they're just going to keep selling it to us. It's not just these three gentlemen. It is, quite frankly, almost any big company right now. Any big CEO, that's what they're selling you fear. And it's very subtle. It's not going to be a jump scare, you know. Maybe, I don't know. But it'll be very subtle. But if you pay attention, you'll notice this. You'll notice these corporations, they're buying fucking into this. Our country, what I'm really getting at here, is in no way, shape, or form going to end anytime soon. They don't need us. There's a little bit of like this idea that oh well, the corporations need us and we still have power over them. That's true. But the problem is they also understand us much better than we understand them. And that right there is terrifying. Because they know more about us, literally, individually, even on some levels, than we know about them. What I'm getting at here is how the hell do you control someone that can read your fucking mind, practically? Because they understand, their algorithms are built on how human psychology works and tracking your psychology. And they know exactly. I mean, they've been working on this, guys, for decades. This is not new fucking technology. It's been only been improving. I feel like that's obvious. But I mean that my point is yeah, we have the power over them in the end of the day, but we're not demonstrating it, and that is because they know that we're not going to. If we keep selling them fear. If they keep selling us fear. Third party, first person, whatever. Third person, whatever. So, the nostalgia trends, that's also just a trend. It's also a whole thing. And that is selling. It used to be just a YouTube thing, and now it turned into it's spread across other parts of the internet. And there's product lines now that are doing this. I mean, whole car companies are doing this. Hyundai released its new model that's supposed to be, it looks like a fucking thing straight out of the 1980s. They're their newest lineup of sports cars. They're kind of, I don't know, I forget the concept car. It's not out yet or anything, but it's a concept. And I'm like, dude, that shit, I mean, look this up. Don't take my word for it, look this up. But I mean, my point is that the corporations, they're selling us fear and nostalgia, right? Those two things go hand in hand right now. And so many people don't get it. Or if they do, they just... That's why I said on my last video, stop giving a shit about Windows 10. You are sucking the actual cock of corporations. And I realize that it's indirect. Microsoft doesn't want you to use Windows 10. I know that. But I'm telling you that that mindset, that's you think right now that corporations are trying to force us into, but really because they're the deeper thing that you ain't seeing is that they're selling you fear, right? And Donald Trump and his bullshit government right now is literally just basically them cashing in on it. It is just their ability. Basically, the only reason why Trump is in power right now is because the oligarchs got him there. Trump would never have gotten to where he is today were it not for a whole bunch of people helping him get there. They helped him get there. He is there right now. He is their fucking puppet. Trump is completely fucking senile. He basically falls asleep on live TV. The dude, everyone was giving Biden shit for, oh my God, sleepy old Joe. Dude, Trump is having fucking strokes on TV. I've not seen that. Oh, because you don't watch any of it in Fox News? I get it. I mean, you can look this up and find this right now. But, as I'm saying, it's like Trump, and that's just them. See, corporations no longer have to lobby the government when they fucking now own the government. Do you understand what I'm saying? Trump controls Congress because Congress is also run in the majority by the Republicans, which is why it's very hilarious. Like this current government shutdown we're going through at the time of me recording this video, they're like, oh, the Democrats are at fault. The Democrats are simply refusing to vote on a bill that essentially gives the Republicans uncontrolled, unchecked power over Congress, which includes healthcare. As the Democrats are not saying, They're not saying that. They should be saying that, but they're going on about the healthcare shit. But really, the Republican shit is if you read that big beautiful bill, it essentially gives them uncontrolled power over the finances of this country. That allows them to literally grab the economy by the balls and control it in fucking full. And their Democrats are like, no, I'm not doing that. We're not signing, that's like signing away the Constitution of the United States. It's almost that bad. It's just like 2 points away from being that bad. And that's why Democrats are saying, no, we're not signing this thing. This is ridiculous. We will absolutely negotiate with you. We don't want to, you are in power. So we want to, while you're in power, yeah, we don't have a whole choice. We know we're not going to get everything we want, but we're not going to sign that. You can negotiate with us like you have before, like we have before with you, and then everybody's happy, government can reopen, and things are okay. And by the way, Democrats just need to sign this bill now and reopen the government, then they can negotiate for the healthcare stuff. No, that's not how that works. That's like buying a car for $32,000 and then trying to negotiate. Actually, I would like only for 16. Sir, you already signed the paperwork. You own the car. You owe us $3,000. That's the talking point the Republicans are using, and it's a legit fucking lie. And the people that don't see that actually have no idea how this works. And that's why they are the same ones, the Trump supporters mostly are the same ones that don't want to drive these old gas guzzlers, and they want to fucking, the old-fashioned ways, by the way, like, that don't exist, that never existed the way that you think they do, but whatever, you don't, whatever, we're not, that's a whole different thing. My point is in this rant that the corporations are selling you fear. Donald Trump is selling us all fear. Trying to, anyway. Okay? Now, when you're all going to be like, oh man, you fucking Democrat, you fucking liberal piece of shit. I'll be very clear about something. I am not a Democrat. I am not a Democrat. I've not been for a long time. Democrats are fucking stupid. I tried, because honestly, I do lean more progressive, so I try to get along with the Democrats best I can, but they're the weakest, stupidest, like, just unsavvy. They have no street smarts fucking at all. I'm surprised the Democrats actually even are at all the other party. It shouldn't be them. It should be someone else at this, especially at this point. So before you go be like, oh, you fucking liberal, I am not a fucking Democrat. Okay? In fact, there's a lot of ways I'm conservative. But I am absolutely not a fucking Democrat. I am not a fucking Republican. The Republicans are the Nazis at this point. They're supporting fascism is not being conservative. I'm just saying, if you're a Republican, you're not conservative. I'm not a total conservative either. I don't think purely conservative is the way to go either. But I will tell you that I'm a moderate as far as that's concerned. I feel like I said this in my last video a little bit, but, and you know what? Let's go talk about the Democrats for a second. I almost hope they lose the midterms. I just hope they do. I don't hope they lose, but I almost do. I'm on the line a little bit. I realize what I'm saying right now. And the people out there that are Democrat and they're anti-Trump right now, they're gonna flip this shit out, just like the people out there that are flipping out about my Trump comments that are Trump supporters. But here's the problem: Democrats can't get anything done. You put them in power and nothing happens. It's true. Nothing fucking happens. I mean, things sort of get done. Things chug along a little bit. But what, guys, I'm not happy with that. I want the country, this is where I do get nostalgic for a second. I want the country that between the 1910s and the 1960s who went from, we're putting cars on the road to a man on the fucking moon. What happened to that country? Democrats aren't interested in that. They're interested in other things that are very important, which, by the way, I'm also interested in. But that's it. They don't desire fucking progress. Not the same way that I think I don't think actually anybody does at this point. Republicans are no better there. But I mean, it's kind of my point of this video. I don't think anybody's actually seeing where we've lost completely. In my mind, the progress we were making is just gone. And I think people are seeing that, but they're trying to choose a side here, and neither Democrats or Republicans have this right. Republicans are just fucking Republicans. Honestly, though, I don't even want to talk about Republicans. They're horrible. Republicans are legitimately just, that party needs to die as much as Democrats do. That one first, though. The Republicans are actually fucked up now. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, 15 years ago, I would say at this point, been a little while. There was an argument that the Republicans had their right to be, they were dumb. I didn't like them back then either. But, okay, fine. They're Democrats, Republicans. Yeah, there were just two political sides, whatever, right? Business as usual. Nowadays, Republicans went off the fucking deep end. And it's legitimately ridiculous how fucking horrible they are. Republicans support just unlawful shit all over the place. All over the fucking place. And then they just justify it. They don't even justify it anymore. They just ignore it. You ask any Republican, they're just going to sit there, whether it be the Speaker of the House or the fucking President himself, they're all going to be like, oh, yeah, well, they're not answering the question. They'll just find some roundabout way to blame somebody else. They'll deflect constantly. The Republicans are great at deflecting. They'll deflect on that fact. They're going to find, if they ever watch the video, they want to ever comment on, they'll be like, no, that's not right. What about all the blah, 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 blah? And in fact, it's like, what about them? I'm simply talking about you. I don't give a fuck about whoever else over here. We're talking about you right now. But that's where the Republicans are. They're horrible. The Democrats, at least they take responsibility for shit. They do. Whenever they lose, they fucking, all right, yeah, we lost. Whatever. Cool, man. That wasn't maybe the best idea. Whatever, right? That's why I lean more Democrat right now, and I'll vote for them, because unfortunately they still have a fucking soul. I don't agree with everything Democrats are doing, but they still have a fucking soul. The Republicans, on the other hand, they don't give a shit. They're all about big money, and of course that's because the big businesses. Understand this: the Republican Party right now is owned by corporate America. So when the Republican Party is owned by corporate America, it's just like if you call up customer service for some major business, like Walmart. Hey, I have an issue with how I was treated in your store or some bullshit. I don't know, or whatever. And they're gonna be they're gonna find every fucking way to dodge accountability. Make it somehow your problem, or send you through a series of infinite loops. Well, file a complaint here, a report here, and send it here, and email it to this person, and then you'll have to tag this person. Well, I don't fucking know, right? But corporate roundabout, go through or insurance company. Hey, it's easy as hell to pay your bill. You go on the fucking website, you sign up for AutoPay, and do all this whatever, Oh, you want to file a claim, so we pay you for a car accident, you fender bender, whatever the fuck. You want to get your whatever fixed, and or as fender benders don't have anymore. That's no new cars do that anymore. So I guess you maybe hit a tree or something, you busted half your car out or something. It's totaled, and you now an insurance payout or whatever the fuck to either fix the damages or get whatever where they're gonna send you through a series of absolute fucking hell. If my house got a lightning storm comes through or thunderstorm and my roof gets fucked up because of hail. I have to pay the insurance company every fucking month. But you know what? Hail comes down. They're going to send 5 fucking people out here, look over every little square inch of that roof. And they're going to be they're going to determine just how bad it is and if they even have to pay anything out at all. And even if they do, it's going to be not even, to get anything out of insurance companies is insane. But that's how it is. That's how corporations are, right? My point is that's Republicans. To get any accountability out of Republicans, they're going to do everything they can to service you, to suck your dick, to get into power, and then when you need them, oh, well, you know what? Yeah, what about them? What about when they were did blah, blah, blah? They're going to deflect. That's Republicans for you. Horrible. And you have just like the coworkers that you have that are all gung ho about things. I have one at work that I'm just like, I don't even know why she acts the way she does. I think she's an idiot in a way for that reason. But they're so gung ho about the work they do, and they're like, and they're like the perfect little employee, whatever. That's Republican supporters for you. Like they won't talk about the hard issues. You approach them, either they'll deflect as well, or they just simply won't talk about it. I've seen both, and I'm also Trump supporters. I know one particular person who's a Trump supporter and a Republican, but you try to ask her some serious, legit questions, and they just won't respond to you. But whenever they might have some shit on you, they will let you know about it. It's like, wow, that's Republicans. I mean, it's just all the fucking time. That's the thing. That's why you all suck, and why no matter if you're in power or not, everybody else thinks you're crazy, because you just are crazy. You refuse to admit just accountability, man. Nobody would give a fuck at the end of the day if you were just accountable to shit you did. Right. My point is all this shit, right? The world or corporations right now are selling you fear. This country is going nowhere. Now, I'm not saying I think corporations are great. I've never liked corporations, and I'm honestly not a capitalist. I like some things about capitalism. I don't know if I'm a full-blown socialist or what the fuck I am, but I'm not about to sit here and say that capitalism is the answer. I think that's a horrible assumption. I honestly think we haven't found the perfect balance yet. I think society is yet to be fully built in the best way it can be. I think we still have some evolving to do. And I'm gonna spend the last bit of this video talking about, if you've made it this far, then you're ready for this part of the video. You've stepped up. Throughout human history, the last 10,000 years. Let's look at the last 10,000 years. Why? Because that's like all of recorded history, really. When we started writing shit on cave walls, starting posting things on Facebook, all of written record of any kind happened in about the last 10,000 years. Or so. As far as I know. I think. Remember to fact check everything you see online. Look this up, guys. My point is if you look at, I'm not trying to be specific here. I'm just giving I'm just giving a timeline, really, of any kind. I know at least 10,000 years. So many societies have risen and fallen. So many people have fought and died for many different causes. So many different forms of government have come to power and stopped for whatever reason, or die, whatever. But if you look at time linearly, in a linear way, I guess you should say, I'm not sure how to fucking talk sometimes, from like 10,000 years ago to now, what is one thing that has stayed constant? That is that quality of life has slowly but steadily improved. And if you think I'm wrong about that, hell, we only got to go back 10,000 years for this. We can if you really want, but we don't have to. Go back just 100 years to 1925. there were still plenty of people that weren't taking baths every day. Couldn't afford to. In these parts of the country that I'm in now, people didn't even have electricity yet. That was still hard to get. Kind of like internet is now in some of these rural areas. You go back further than that, 1825. You were lucky if you got a bath a month. There was electricity, what's that? You probably would freeze to death. You might, freezing to death was a very real thing. In 1825, if you lived to be age 30, you were incredibly lucky. Not everybody did. Most people died in childbirth. Medications, what are those? Healthy, clean food, what's that? A store even? An emporium maybe. Maybe you have certain ingredients there you can make stuff, but you are living off what you literally made with your bare hands. Maybe some tools, and you better had chickens and cows and fucking farm to feed you and your family. And again, you got sick, you got the common cold. It wasn't taking a couple of days sick off of work, struggling to find PTO. It was a matter of life and death. That's just 200 years from this point, backwards. This old car I'm sitting in was impossible. Not remotely possible. We look at these cars like they're almost junk. Impossible technology back then. Even in 1925, And just in the last 100 years, only in the last century, from 1925 to 2025, we have improved medical advances incredibly. The average age of death is like 70 years old. 65, 70-ish. I think it's 67, 70, something like that. A lot better, though, than like 30 or 35. If you get sick, chances are you're going to live, not die. Getting sick was a death sentence back then. It was. You were probably going to die. Because here's the thing, again, you'd barely, nowadays our bodies have the ability, we take showers. I take a shower every day. I hope you do too. God, some people don't actually, even still. And I'm like, it's insane to me. Why? Take a fucking shower, Smelly. And if you do that, guess what? You have the fighting chance of living through an illness. Even severe ones. If you got strep back then, you were going to die. Like, that wasn't a death sentence. That was a legit, you are dead. Tuberculosis, dead. Almost everybody died of that shit. Now it's, we have a fucking fix for that. No big deal. Like, yeah, I'm talking 1925, all kinds of shit. That was a big deal back then. We have antibiotics now. We've not cured cancer, but we can surely as hell fucking get you through it. You have much better chance of surviving now. You did, we've put a man on the moon. And people don't believe that. People fucking think we didn't, which I think is ridiculous. We absolutely did. The evidence is there. And by the way, if it wasn't, then why, if it was such a fucking scam, then why isn't Donald Trump, oh God, I honestly struggle to even say this, because I feel like people are going to target this shit now. But why hasn't your King Donnie over there fucking gone to the Smithsonian and been like, this is all scams, get rid of it? He probably will at some point. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised, and I'm honestly concerned by even saying that, because oh fuck. Guys, we're living the best time that the world has ever seen, even with the shit we're going through right now. I'm not saying everything you're struggling with right now is not legit. No. I'm saying right now, we have, if ever, a chance for our species to enlighten themselves. I'm recording on a device right now that even just 20 years ago wasn't possible. Just 10 years ago was sort of possible, but not in its current form. And I'm telling you right now, this device right now, this is actually my next video probably. I want to talk about, we'll go back to technology. Plays into this. But this phone right here, right now, that I'm recording on, this thing is amazing. Yes. Oh, yeah. We're demonizing, we're so stupid right now that we're demonizing technology. Why? It's not the technology's fault. It's not this device that I'm sitting here recording on that's leaning up against an old lawnmower battery. You know, it is not this thing's fault. It's how I use it. It's still up to me. People are like, AI is ruining, AI is making us obsolete. You know why AI is able to make you obsolete? Because you ain't fucking using the brain you were given anyway. You're sitting there demonizing nothing. Guys, I'm not college educated. I skipped out. I own a home. I own 2 cars, including one I'm sitting in right now. I've got a wonderful girlfriend, and I make decent money. I still live paycheck to paycheck. I ain't gonna lie. I'm still young and struggling. But I'll tell you this: I'm building a future for myself, and I have done that through raw research and just decent work. Because I utilize the tools that I have. I'm not saying these things are perfect. It's never been perfect. But you all are acting like that it's, we are dying, there's nothing we can do about it. Do you think if you would have had to flown to the moon in 1969, whether or not you believe that ever happened, just picture yourself doing that. You're in a capsule in the 1960s, mind you. You have that level of technology. Again, whether or not you believe this, just put yourself in that place. Because who cares, really? But let's say it was happening. And you had to get there and back safely. Do you think giving up and being like, oh shit, I can't, oh shit, this is, it's hopeless. I don't know what I'm doing. You would have died. Flat out. Dead. You're dead. That's why you weren't chosen for that mission. That's why these guys fucking were, because they are like, nope, no, we know how to solve problems, dude. I at work am the go-to person. I know that sounds so narcissistic as fuck, but I'm the guy that has to do half the work. That's why I was killing myself. I was so stressed in the office. And I do a shitload of work there that people just can't do there in the office. If my boss watches that, he would laugh and think I'm full of shit with this. Because honestly, he's done things recently that show that he doesn't value what the fuck I do. Or at least he doesn't want to value what I do. But if I ever end up leaving that fucking place, I'll tell you right now, they're going to be in a world of shit. Why? Because I actually know how to solve problems without asking for help. Simply put. I'm not saying I never ask for help. But I'm saying that most of the time, I got colleagues that are always in his office. How do I do this? How do I do that? Walk me through this. Oh, talk me over this. Even when it comes to communicating with people. Oh my fucking God. Google is your friend for like 99% of these issues. The remaining 1% actually use your brain. Yeah, just for that 1%. I mean, you literally could rely on other outside sources, but I don't. I probably, my percentage is a little more than that. I try, I'm not always right, and I'm not perfect. I mess things up all the time. But that's just the reality of this, man. We're almost 51 minutes in. 51 more minutes of bad takes coming your way, I guess. Here we are. I'm going to leave you off with, I don't know if this video made sense. I just wanted to say, like, guys, the corporations, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's true, though. They know that we're all scared and upset about the current state of the world right now. They're selling that fear to you, continually. They control the market. They control every little thing we do. You could accept that, or you could push back correctly. Support open source projects, like I've said before. You know, drive older vehicles. Do things that don't give them as much power and control. But before you can do that, you need to educate yourself on how they're holding your control. And I am not the correct person to tell you how. I'm just introducing you to this door, but you got to walk through it. There's plenty of great resources online. Talk to you about how dark money works. You know, how corporations work and how fucking the economy works. There's plenty of videos on YouTube. There's plenty of books you can read about this. You pick your fucking resource, man. But just start doing this. And stop just sharing. Just stop living in the echo chamber of social media and even YouTube. You know, stop watching videos like this. I mean, I love that you're watching my videos, but I mean, at some point, move on. Take your spouse, significant other out to dinner. Be like, yeah, man, we'll be all right. Or cook at home or whatever. Sit down, have a heart-to-heart conversation with whoever. Or if you live by yourself or are on your own, just go take a walk. I do that like almost every day on a lunch hour. You know, listen to your music and just let your mind think about not negativity, positively. Right? I'm not saying that just to be like toxic positivity. I'm saying that just start trying to solve your problems. And when you start getting stressed out, like, oh, God damn it, it's too much. All right? One step at a time. Just start small. Just little bits. I've got debt, a lot of debt right now I'm trying to work through. It's true. And I could freak out about it, but instead I made myself a budget. And I'm working through it. There's still some things I got to do with that, but I'm working through it. I believe I can get myself through that. I believe we can come out of this presidency. I believe we can take back control of this country. I believe that we, as people, can actually solve a lot of these problems and get back to the country that used to innovate. And actually help the rest of the world innovate. Not just us, but help the rest of the world innovate as well. Anyways, guys, I hope you all have a good night. I hope you all have a good day tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next video. Oh, before I go, if you actually have been paying attention, you noticed a gap in my upload schedule. I haven't uploaded since Thursday, since Windows 10 thing. I took the weekend off, and I might keep doing that. We'll see. But during the week, I'll keep these videos up, so expect them moving forward. Weekdays, at least. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.